Howdy.
Yo.
Hello.
Episode 51. Cool Ranch Corner, baby.
Yes, sir. Congrats
Ben,
on 51 episodes. That's really
yeah,
Thank
well.
you.
dude. Thank you. I was gonna say that Ben was originally supposed to be on episode 50, but he had a wedding. Um, but he's here now, so
Mhm.
thanks for being here, man.
Of course.
Always
thank
great
for
having you
me.
on.
Likewise. This is super fun. I love this.
So, life updates, week stuff. I guess Chris, you can do your little thing real quick.
So there was a package that you sent, and it finally showed up, but it scared the crap out of me. So first off, there was the first day, the dude was like, "Oh yeah, the person moved, so I can't deliver it." And then Bobby was like, "No, no, that person did not move. Deliver it again." And so they delivered it, but the dude knocks on my door with the force of like 1,000 horses, bro. It was like boom, 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 and I was like,
Holy
I was like trying to sleep. Like it was, of course, like I get up late for work, and so it wakes me up early, and I'm like thinking something's about to happen, and I was like, oh no, it's just a package. So I go out there, grab it, but the guy was like gone within seconds of him knocking. I was like, that guy was not trying to like stay like any second longer than he needed to be. Like he was just gone. Didn't wait for me to even like go and like sign for it or anything. He just left. I was like, all right, cool. So he just dropped it off and dipped.
Bobby deals with so many packages, whether it's like the PR stuff, sending out giveaways, and like all that. So it's cool that she's on top of that.
Yeah.
At least it got
wow.
delivered. But
Yeah.
dude, so many times recently I've accidentally clicked because there's an Amazon warehouse here, Ben, like a big one,
Yeah.
and so there's a lot of stuff. It'll be like this will be delivered in the next 12 hours, and it's like sweet. But sometimes that means I'll accidentally click like same day or whatever, like the Prime 1 day thing,
Right. Right.
and it will say delivered between 4 and 8 a.m. So at like 4 in the morning, doom doom doom, and the dog's like, "Who the fuck's at the door?" And it wakes up everybody. I'm like, that probably woke up the neighbors, bro. Like, damn.
Sammy.
Um,
Oh.
so yeah,
How is
sometimes
Sammy?
like
I feel like I haven't heard about Sammy in so long.
he's right here. He's good. You can't see him right now, but
Yeah.
he's laying right there in front of the shelf. My wife and Theo are at some like jump up place. I told Theo, don't touch your face, like hand sanitizer up, everything. Don't be coming home with germs. I'm so tired of everybody being sick right
Yeah.
now.
Oh.
Don't be licking stuff. Don't let anybody sneeze in your mouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, if that's all you got,
Ew.
Chris.
Wait, sneeze in your mouth. That's
That's
disgusting.
that's what these kids do at school, man. They like, you want to see my booger? Like that's the stuff kids do, man. They're gross. They're little petri dishes. Um,
I got screwed over by McDonald's. That happened too. I ordered like some nuggets. I drive over there, and I put curbside, and it was like the moment I got there, it charged, and then like wouldn't let me select a spot to park in. Yeah,
That's
I
weird.
I was like, you know what? Never mind, man. I'm not gonna do this. So I gotta go like dispute it. But I was like, freaking McDonald's, man. I'm done going there, man. I'm so tired of it.
dude, it sucks. I really like whenever they do these special quarter pounders and things like that. Right? They had like the BLT one, which was phenomenal. Like honestly, one of
Yeah.
the best things they've come out with in a while. But anytime you order anything with bacon, they're like, oh, it's gonna be like a 10-minute wait, and it's like,
Oh.
how does it take that long to heat bacon? Like sometimes at home, if I'm lazy, I'll just throw a couple slices in the microwave and that shit's done in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Have you ever cooked bacon in the microwave, Ben? It's like the
Uh,
biggest life hack ever.
Yeah. It's very simple. I remember. It's not as toasty though when you're doing it in the microwave, right? It's just more like.
There's tricks. There's
Okay.
tricks. I know how to make it like crispy and everything, man. I bet you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference.
I actually, yeah. Tell me how to do that.
I mean, I'll find the article or whatever that I found that has like all the bro's gonna be making bacon all the time now.
Well, so like, have I explained? I've explained it to you, Deej, but like, my old like go-to McDonald's order was 2 spicy McChickens, no mayo, no lettuce, and I would put cheese and bacon on them. and it was like
Oh,
it was so good, but it was like double the price. It was
Yeah.
amazing though.
because you just
Dude.
get plain, right? It's just like the chicken and the cheese, and then the
So you get
the
it.
bacon.
You get it. So it comes with lettuce and mayo, but
Uh-huh.
I just get it taken off because the
Yeah.
lettuce there sucks, and then they put too much mayo, and so
Yeah.
then I just have them put
I
cheese
like
and
the
bacon on
lettuce.
it. You like
That
you
sounds
like
really
McDonald's
good.
lettuce?
Dude, I might
I mean,
try
yeah.
that actually.
Sometimes you'll get bad lettuce, but for the most part, it's like
No,
nice
man.
and
It's like they
crispy.
just
And
it's like they put like green construction paper in a paper shredder and then put it on your
Yes.
sandwich.
well, the
Yeah.
worst thing is their onions. They're like dehydrated onion little things, you know.
Yeah.
Those
Every
are pretty
kind of
gross.
like topping vegetable that they have is so like just repulsive to me. I just get so grossed
Well, you
out.
just you don't get anything on your burgers, just cheese and like bacon, right?
That's
So
why. That's why I'm just like, yeah. I added bacon. That was a big milestone for me. Like when I was like, I don't know, 20 something.
game
And
changer.
yeah, it's like meat, cheese, bacon goes fucking crazy, man. That's like, I had
Bacon's
that
pretty
at a hotel
awesome.
the other day, and it was just the it was emotional. It was an emotional experience.
Buffalo Wild Wings stepped up their burger game, man. We went and got burgers for National Burger Day because it was buy one get one free. We did that for
Uh-huh.
a video. Oh man, they have this mac and cheese burger that Theo loves. They literally put mac and cheese on it, and
Mac
bacon,
and cheese
And bacon.
and bacon.
I feel like that's too
Dude.
much. That's gotta be too much, man.
No, no. I mean, dude, if Theo can eat it, it's not too much.
I'll fucking get that right after this if that's true.
It's delicious. It does come with other stuff, so make sure you get the other stuff removed.
Okay. Thank you. For
But
that.
it's fire. Yeah, good. I got like the triple bacon one. Oh my gosh, they put so much bacon on it, and it's thick. Like it's still crispy, but it's like thicker bacon. Like it's not cheap bacon. Like they put some real bacon on that bitch.
Okay.
You know, not like Burger King where it looks like bacon that's been like cut in half, like to make it last twice as long. Like we're gonna get our money out of this bacon.
How much is that? Is that like a $20 burger? What is that?
It was like $16, but in California it's probably like 30. You're in LA, bro.
Jesus.
That's true.
You got the phantom tax over there.
So true. We do have phantom tax.
I got some cool stuff. So I told Ben the other night I finished a big rewrite on my screenplay. It is officially 80 pages right now, and I'm going through a third like mini pass right now just to touch up anything, and like I have my own notes that I made, and then Ben gave me some notes for like the first 35 pages or something.
Yeah, I think you said
Um,
32 or 35 is what we left off on. But yeah,
So I'm already
great.
at
Great.
page 7 on that. So just like skimming through and like changing things
Okay.
here and there. So I'll probably get. I'm gonna try and get to like 40 tonight if I can. I have to do an audition. Speaking of auditions, they've been coming in steadily. Like I think I officially now have had more auditions this year than I have like any other year since 2021. So that's cool.
Nice.
Even had my first callback and all that. So it's happening. I saw Transformers 1 with Theo last Saturday after the podcast, and it is like, to me it felt like I was watching like the Revenge of the Sith of the Transformers movies.
Mm.
The last act of that movie is epic, and makes it just elevates the whole film. I really impressed with it. It might be story wise the best Transformers movie. Oh,
Wait, so is that another like Michael Bay one, or is that different?
he produced it, but it's I think Josh Cooley made it. I forgot what other stuff he's done, but he's done some other like decent sized stuff. It is animated, but the animation is really cool. There's some really cool visuals. It's vibrant, and like there's some stuff that happens at the end where I was just like I my eyes were starting to water a little bit. I was like, this is awesome. So it's definitely worth taking the family to see. It's great. It's got a lot of emotion to it, and I genuinely would like to see a sequel to it. So
Oh,
I think
cool.
they did a good job.
They're gonna call it
I give it
Transformers 2.
Transformers 2.
What?
Transformers 1+1. It's like a Godzilla -1 like
Oh
title.
yeah.
1+1. Um, I give it like a 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. That's how much I liked it.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice.
Legit. Um, might be getting Dead Rising remastered. It looks
Okay.
pretty great. You guys seen that?
Is Dead Rising the one where you're in like a mall?
In the mall. Yeah, it is a phenomenal game, Chris. I think you would actually enjoy that.
I remember you playing it a lot on the 360, and God, that I remember like you just pick up,
Everything
like,
is a weapon.
yeah.
Everything.
Dang. When is that coming out? Is it already out?
It's out. It just dropped on like the 16th or 19th. I think the 19th. The one thing that I will say as well that I think hypes it up even more is it's Capcom, and so this is like they're using like the Resident Evil remastered engine to do it, I believe. So like it's legit.
Oh.
They apparently fixed some game mechanics that used to frustrate people, so people are like giving it positive reviews just for that alone. They're like, it's a great game. But they fixed this. Did I mention they fixed this? Like, it just the game
Wow.
is so much better. So I'm like, damn, I gotta get that.
How
The
much
only
is
thing
it?
that's like, I think it's $50.
Dang, really?
It has got a lot of play value to it though, a lot. There's so much you can do in it. It'll go on sale,
Dude,
at some point.
I'm just waiting for Black Ops 6 at this point, man. I really enjoyed that beta.
1 month.
I
Did you play the
know.
beta, Ben?
I didn't get to. I watched all
Oh.
like a ton of it. I was out of town every single like weekend and day, like all the days that it was out. I was out of town. I was like,
Dude,
frustrating.
it was so sweaty, man. It was so
I
great.
think it was
Yeah.
my favorite COD beta since like, jeez, I don't even know, man.
I think it's my favorite COD beta, like just hands down. Like
They did a great job with like rotating maps to keep it like feeling fresh throughout the beta.
the only
throughout
the only
weekends.
thing I wish they didn't do is like that freaking HVT game mode.
Yeah, that mode
I
passed. I'm
yeah.
deselecting that as soon as I install the game. Like,
Yeah, and it's not that the mode itself is bad. It's that the people who play it, like, they don't understand how to play the mode. Protect
nobody
the person
plays it. Yeah, you know?
who's got that marker above their head, because otherwise you lose. And they're just like, I'm gonna go walk around and just start shooting random people. It's like, dude, that's not how the game mode works.
It's just like team deathmatch with like an extra frustrating step to it, and I haven't heard nobody say anything good about that mode. So
I
could-
could see people on COD like just abusing that. Just
If-
it's terrible.
If it was like,
it's not even fun.
if you were in a party with some people that were gonna protect the HVT the whole time, right? Then it wouldn't be a
Yeah.
problem. But if you're going with randoms, you're just screwed. It's just not happening.
Well, maybe it's a good community game for streamers to play with like fans and stuff. I can see them-
There's just play domination or search and destroy. Like, there's so much better. Like, it's so much more fun playing those team-based objective games than it is to play this.
Yeah.
It's literally just team deathmatch, except the points, you get extra points for killing this high-value target.
Yeah.
But like, my issue was I would be, on a kill streak, and then whoever the high value target is dies, and I become the high value target, and it just ruins my experience because not everybody's coming after me, and I didn't even realize that I was a high value target. So it's just, I don't know. frustrating.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, because it's a infinite respawn game mode, so like it's not like Search and Destroy where it's like it switches sides or whatever. It's like literally, it's just
It
team
might be better
deathmatch.
like that, yeah. If it was like search and destroy round based, it might actually be fun because it would be like, okay, instead of having to do the bomb objective, we're literally protecting somebody. That's a fun idea. I feel like they've done that before.
I think so too, but they might have been like a different game entirely that actually did it, like CS:GO or something like that.
What was it called? Like Kill Switch or something? I can't remember what it was
I
called.
don't know.
Whatever. It's ass though.
A Kill Order is what it was called.
Kill order. Yeah. Deselecting kill order, like, is immediately. I mean, like, install the game. About to play zombies. Hang on. Wait a second. Go to my playlist. Deselect that shit. Just out of spite. One thing that I added last minute because Ben texted me yesterday. I was at the gym. I'm doing my workout, and Ben's like, "Bro, the substance. Gotta go see it. Drop everything you're doing right now." I was like, fuck this workout. No, I'm just kidding. I
Yes,
finished my
yes.
workout.
Oh.
No, I finished the workout. All right, I was responsible, and then I got the 10:50 showing, which is the last one for the night. And then when I got there, I was like, this movie's 2 hours and 20 minutes. God damn, it's
Yeah, that is
long.
a brutal 10 o'clock at night movie to see, but
But
powered through it.
but I think it's one of my favorite like film going experiences of the year, and I think it's my favorite horror movie of the year.
Okay.
I think my favorite thriller is Strange Darling, but this is my favorite horror movie, and I think it's definitely gonna build up like a cult following. Like I think without a
Yeah.
doubt, like just
Oh, I
the
hope
way
so.
it's all done. So Chris, to
Hmm.
explain it to you, and Ben, you can add if you want, chime in since you've seen
Sure.
it as well, without giving any spoilers. It's this. It starts out and it's this. Demi Moore is playing this like washed up actress who's like 50 now. You know, like she's basically like freaking Rick Dalton and freaking Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like she's just like
Great
I'm a
way to put
has
it.
been. Yeah.
Great
And
way.
she goes to some doctor's appointment, and this like weird vampire looking dude is like checks her spine and then is like, you would be a great candidate. And she's like, what? And he's like, oh, nothing. Just like, I'm like, what the fuck? What was that? And then she like walks out of the doctor's office and she reaches in her pocket and she finds this note. And it's got this like this little thumb drive.
Yeah.
And on it says the substance. So she plugs it into her TV, and it's basically like this. Dude, the way it's done is awesome too. I feel I've never seen Requiem for a Dream, but I've seen clips and it reminded me of that. The way that it's like really intense. It's like, oh, this drug, you know. It's like, have you ever wanted to be a better you? And so, you know, her being in the mental state she is, she's like, hell yeah. And so she calls the number, and she gets this drug called the substance, and she takes it, and there's like rules to it, and I don't want to spoil the rules because they honestly like surprised me how it was like. I was like, oh wow, this is gonna be interesting. How are they gonna go about this? Because this is obviously gonna lead to problems.
Mhm.
But she basically should I give away like at least how it works to an
I think
extent?
the rules
Or?
is appropriate. Yeah, I mean the back spine thing is all over the posters and the
Yeah.
trailer, so it's like it's fine.
So the rules are she's going to split into two people, a younger version and her current version. The only catch is every 7 days they have to switch. And while one of them is like out and about living, the other one is basically like in a comatose state, like hooked up to like a food supply thing.
Yep.
And she has like 7 days worth of food. Plug it in, just come back and switch, and everything's good. But the younger version of herself immediately like gets her own TV show, and like all this crazy shit starts happening. Like the fame and fortune and everything is like a big aspect of it. And obviously the rules are what complicate things, and it is up there with like The Fly and The Thing in terms of body horror, without a doubt.
Ooh.
Some of the best, like it's like a modern day 80s body horror film.
Yeah.
And I gave it 4.5 stars. My only complaint is there is so much goddamn nudity in this movie that I can't suggest it to like anyone, because it is like is the director male or female?
Female, and she's known
That
for
surprises me because
doing
like
that,
because there are so many close-ups of the female ass in this movie. It's like I was like, dude, like this chick, like this couple was in the theater with me,
uh-huh.
and the chick during the big like montage where she has her own show and she's like dancing and there's all these close-ups of asses and stuff.
Yes.
She went to go use the bathroom and was shaking her head as she walked out, and I was like, ugh. This is definitely going to make some women uncomfortable, I think, because it's very sexualized the way they do it all,
Yeah.
but with a purpose. Like I do respect why. I just think it could have been done a little less. Like it's a little in your face, or it's a lot in your face. But but when like the actual like scene happens where they like split and everything, there was like full on nudity. I was like, this is crazy, but like obviously it's done in a non-sexual way, so it was like, okay, I get it. But still, it's like about, like like beauty standards and like, youth and all that stuff. So it does focus on the fact that like, oh, this younger version's hot and like all this stuff, like they literally show like, oh, her ass is saggy and hers is like perfect, right? Like that's part of it. But the practical effects were amazing, like mind blowing. There's literally like parts of the movie where I'm like, I see how they did that, and that's really impressive. Like it's seamless, like just some of the best practical effects I've ever seen. If you're a fan of, like I said, things like the 1980s Blob movie, which is really underrated if you haven't seen that, Ben.
Mm-hmm. I've not seen that yet.
If you liked this, you would probably dig that.
Okay.
That, The Thing, The Fly, anything that's like body horror, like what David Cronenberg type stuff.
Right.
You'll really dig this because it just for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I was really amazed at how it escalated things and got grosser and grosser, and just do not eat. Well, don't eat before this movie, or don't get popcorn, nothing, because it's pretty revolting. Even like scenes when people are eating food is like gross. Like it's just it's all meant like amazing sound design, by the way. Like I think that was one of the biggest aspects of it for me that like really made the movie feel the way it did. So yeah, my only reason why I didn't give it 5 stars is because I think they could have toned down the nudity. I really do. There was a lot, and like I think the director could have done the whole like beauty standard aspect of it, and like, oh look, like without doing it for the rest of the movie as well. You know what I mean? Like it could have been a little more tasteful, I think. But because there's just a lot of people who are gonna like, I think they're gonna get to the scene where they split and they're just gonna be like, I can't, like this is making me uncomfortable. Like if you tried to watch it with like anybody that like you definitely can't watch it with your parents. That would be awful. But like it's not a good date movie. Like I don't know, man. But it's wild, and it's definitely gonna stick in my brain for a long time. So I recommend The Substance for anybody who's like really into body horror. Like I think when people talk about how like Terrifier has all this blood and gore and stuff, I'm like, nah, fuck that. This is how you do it. Like it's the body horror is very like it's just the way it's executed is like, this is cool. This is not like, oh, let's watch somebody like get stabbed 100 times and like live through it because he can keep them alive, and like look how gross and cool the practical effects are because their face is falling off. It's just not. It's really like it's psychological at the same time, and I think that's what really it makes it so thrilling at the same time. But it's sci-fi, so if you like horror sci-fi, yeah, I think we said enough. I don't want to like spoil anything else, but it's probably one of the best experiences of the year. I wish I'd like because it was such a late showing. There was only like I said, there was like a couple and then like 2 other people in there. That would have been a really fun one to see in a packed theater.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Because the reactions would probably be like, I mean, because Alien Romulus was cool because of the reactions to the practical effects.
Oh,
Everyone's like, whoa, like. Did you see that, Ben?
Yeah,
Romulus?
I loved Alien Romulus. Yes, that was fantastic.
I wanted to love it.
Really? You didn't love it?
It was just too many recycled ideas for me. I was bored story wise, but like practical effect wise, it was awesome.
Sure. I really liked David Johnson's performance. I thought that was the biggest.
Oh yeah.
That was just out of this world. Like it's such a like incredible like setup to. I didn't know anything much about Alien Romulus. Like going into it, I just knew it was like, okay, they're going back to horror, and the process of like getting acquainted with that character, thinking he's like mentally ill, and it's like, oh, is this like she has like a mentally disabled brother that she's having to like take along with her, and then it's like, oh, he's like an android, and then the switch and just what they do, like they just maximized him. I thought the whole way through was fantastic. Give me a call. Yeah, it was.
What the fuck, man? I'm pretty sure mine like ding like a little while ago. I was like, oh shit. What was that ringtone?
That was the song "One" from Metallica.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Darkness,
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
listening to me. Yeah, it's been my ringtone since high school. So
Hell yeah. Um, yeah, the Alien Romulus I will watch again with my wife because I think the first 20 minutes of that movie are
uh-huh.
phenomenal. Like one of the best openings to a film that I've seen in a long time. Like the way they portray the world, the
Yes.
technology, everything. Like I wanted, like I almost was like, what? Can we just stay in this? Like we stay focused on this, and then it goes, how every alien movie goes, and they're like on a ship, and there's alien, and it's just like, I don't know, man. I think the whole second act is a mess. Like it's like
Mm.
narrative wise. Like after the huge face hugger sequence that's in the trailer, that's when it kind of like dropped off for me, and I was just like, some of the decisions, and then and a lot of stuff. I kept thinking in my head, I've seen this exact thing in another alien movie. Like that kept coming up in my head. Jorge and I kept looking at each other and like rolling our eyes and sighing whenever they would do things, and it's like seeing that was stupid. And then the last act is like really fun, but it's that whole second act, which is the second act is the biggest part of every movie usually. um that's what really brought the film down for me. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. I would have given it 4 or higher if it was better executed narrative wise. Like Chris, I honestly would suggest watching Alien Romulus. I think you would dig it because the practical effects are they're it's a different style of practical effect, but it's up there. Like it again, that and like the substance. Like if you liked The Thing, like I think you'll appreciate the practical effects, and that makes it worth watching. So
Mhm.
um anyways, Ben, do you have anything you wanted to talk about? Anything exciting this
Um,
week that you can share?
I'd say like I just been like traveling a lot. The wedding I went to was really wonderful, really nice, and met some wonderful people. And I think lately I've noticed a lot of people are writing, and my friends are writing, and everyone who's writing is coming out with good, like their best shit that they've ever. Like everyone is like, there was like this creative wave this month I noticed of like amongst you, Keenan, my roommate, Aaron, and then a couple other people who are all writing are just like they're sharing with me their stuff, and like I like helping people like write their stuff, and I love like just getting feedback and like writing stuff, like reading other my friends scripts, and like everyone was just like, whoa dude, I gotta tell you about this guy's script, or I gotta tell you about this guy's script. So I was like gloating about I was bragging about Derek's script to Keenan and being like, his opening is just like his the 10 to 15 pages, he hits the exact mark you're supposed to with the inciting incident and then the end of act 1 and all that stuff. And Keenan like also did the same, and it was just like, so it's a good feeling. It's like inspiring. So I've been feeling that lately. Played some good games. There's a new game called Hollow Body that came out. It's like an indie horror made by a single developer, and it's sort of like the precursor to Silent Hill 2 right now. It's like that's what people are playing, is they're like hyping up for the
Mhm.
Silent Hill 2 remake. This game called Hollow Body. It was a Kickstarter game. He made like $30,000 on it, and made it entirely himself. It's very much like Signalis, Resident Evil, Silent Hill 2,
Okay.
obviously. And I've been playing that. It's good. It's a short, like 4 hour experience, then high replayability.
How much
Um,
is it?
I think 20 bucks.
Hmm.
And then there's another $20 game called Until Then. That's like a visual novel, and I've been playing that one for a while. But like I just went back into it this past weekend, and like I think it's honestly the greatest high school coming of age thing in all of video games. Like better than Life is Strange.
Wow.
I don't want to say better than
I
Gone Home, but
I
like
never played Life is Strange, but I have it, and I've meant to,
mhm,
because I know people talk about how like, because coming of age stuff, I feel like it's hit or miss for me, because a lot of times it's very cliche, but
mhm,
then when it's portrayed with a lot of emotion and like a good atmosphere, like
yeah,
Gone Home, because like when you suggested that and I played it, I was like, yeah, I can see why you suggested it, because it has a lot of aspects to it that I like about certain, like trying to think of a good example. For a lot of the same reasons that I liked, I saw the TV Glow, even though I know a lot
uh-huh,
of people wouldn't. You know what I
uh-huh,
mean? Um, but yeah, It's good to hear that you're not just playing Last of Us Part 2 again. So
my junk food game more or less was Wukong as well. I should say.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Last of Us Part 2 is not junk food. Let me just.
yeah, I was about to say, I was like, what?
Sorry.
The
not clip
McDonald's of the
that.
video game world.
No. cut the podcast.
yeah, cut this out. Fuck this, I'm out. You just leave.
Wukong, it's fun. Kind of turn your brain off. It's wonderful. The secret ending of Wukong is out of this world, by the way. If you guys are playing it, are you guys playing it?
No.
No, I
Oh
don't
my
like
God.
this kind of games, man.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
frustrate me.
I should say, like, I totally respect if you don't like it, but like, I like self-harm and banging my head against the wall a million times. It's in video games, but like,
Can't.
in Minecraft.
Yeah.
That's a good segue to World of T-shirts, but because
Hell
Mr.
yeah.
Base does that. But the secret ending in Wukong brought a sort of wonder that was like on the scale of early 2000s, like you're telling your friend on the playground, like, I found this super secret thing in Call of Duty. You can climb up on this thing and snipe everyone from there and no one will kill you. And it's incredible. And it's like, you found this crazy secret that's yourself. Like the Wukong secret, like section is on that. And then so much more. And I've never felt so like fulfilled by like a game. Like it's so finished. It's the most finished game I've played in so long, and I really loved Wukong for that. So I have to give props to that. But yeah, that's my update.
My only, like, my biggest issue with those kinds of games is I've always looked to video games to be a source of like distraction and stress relief. And so a game that induces stress or like pisses you off is just, I
Yeah.
can't do it because it'll just ruin my whole day, man. I can't.
Yeah.
Like I get it. My time is not that your time isn't valuable to you, but I just having, a wife and kids, it's like, okay, do I want to go get curb stomped by this boss a million times trying to beat it, or do I want to, like, spend some time with like my daughter who's like 5 months old, obviously I'm gonna choose that. So obviously I'm gonna go play Wukong.
The perspective is crazy. No, that's totally fine. It's on. I don't feel great about myself when I'm playing it. I watched my roommate playing it, and he's like struggling on it, and so like he'll like hand off the controller to me and be like, "Can you want to give the boss a shot?" And then I'll like get to the like last little blip of health on the boss. And he's like, "Don't kill it! I need to kill it. I need to be the one to do it." I'm like, "Wow, I did this in one try. I don't even play this game. I'd probably be really good at it." And then that delusion just 60 hours later.
One of the things I always love about going to stay with Ben when I have like something going on in LA is I admire the way that him and his roommate are able to just like turn on a game and just be immersed in it. Like I just like, and it gets me like immersed in it. I'll be like, oh cool, like yeah, like you guys are playing like Sekiro, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, like this looks so fun, but I know if you handed me the controller, I would just get my dick smashed. Like I just can't, I can't play those games, man.
I appreciate
I mean,
that.
if I gave it time like anything else, but I just don't. So like, I think I own Sekiro because I got it for like $10, but I don't know if I'm ever gonna play it. I have Elden Ring, and it's like one of the biggest regrets I ever have because I'm like, yeah, I'm never gonna play this. It's just way too hard for me to like invest time into. But I respect it. Like I respect everything about them. It's just not for me, I guess. But yeah, on to our main topic. Chris and I talked about World of T-shirts a couple weeks ago because he moved in with Mr. Based, and that to me was like, this can only get worse, And over
Moved
like,
in with him?
yeah, he lives with him right now.
Oh my god. Okay.
Mr. Based went to jail for hitting that guy with a tripod, and as soon as he got out of jail, World of T-shirts moved in with him.
Oh wow. Okay, I did not know
I was
that.
like, I mean, like I feel like we went into detail about the whole history of it, so I'm gonna skip all of that. But basically, the update and development that has been happening is, I don't know. A lot of people are saying maybe Mr. Base is giving him drugs, or abusing
Whoa.
medication or something. But he had a couple of nights where it really seemed like he was having like a psychotic episode, like he was going through like some kind of psychosis. Like every little thing would set him off and it would turn into like an argument with himself, you know. um I know he's been taking some kind of medication, and so mixing that with alcohol obviously is terrible for you. um but he was like, he keeps doing this thing where he gets frustrated, he goes "Ah," he starts like chewing on his hand, and Mr. Bass always goes, no, no, Josh, no, no. I'm like, good God. But like literally, people will tell him like, you know, I'm gonna come steal your hat, and he'd be like, Gil, what do I do? They're gonna steal my hat. I can't afford a lawyer. And it's like, what does a lawyer have to do with this? Right? Am I like, am I on,
right.
I'm pretty much on point with it, right, Ben?
Yes,
Like,
yes,
we
yes.
send the videos to each other all the time. I
Yes.
send them to Ben and Keenan all the time, his roommate, and we're always like, Jesus, bro, what? Like, I can't believe he did this. But the other night, he had a wake up call because he was running around New York like kicking people.
Did you see this video, Chris?
No, I
He
did
literally
not.
he kicks this guy, and the guy's like, "Yo, what the fuck? Like, you just kicked me."
Oh, you gotta see it. I mean, that you're putting it very lightly. I gotta say, you're giving him a lot of
He
credit.
started kicking a car, and I'm like, the alarm's
Yeah.
gonna go off, but somehow it didn't.
I'm gonna go look this up.
He got on top of the car.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Ben?
Yes, yes.
He climbed
Oh,
up
yeah.
on top of it. He's like, "No, get down, Josh, get down."
That whole thing was just surreal to see, because like when, especially the TikTok experience when you're just like swiping up, so you see the first Mr. Bass video, which is at 11 million views right now today, the one where he's kicking people, and then
Yeah.
you swipe up, and then because the engagement's so high, the next video on your For You page is cut to him on top of a car. It's like the transition of swiping on TikTok is like so funny. It's not funny. It's just like, whoa, what the
Well, so
fuck? He's on the car now.
I looked it up, and all I see is World of T-shirts 917 full rampage, and then in quotes, put
Yeah.
the fries in the bag.
Yeah, no, that is totally the thing. He chased after this woman because this like chick walks up, and she looks like she's like secretly filming him. Did you see this, Ben? She's like filming them on the street, and like she's like talking to Josh and this and that. She obviously knows who he is, and she's being like awkwardly weird about it. And then like all of a sudden, some random lady passes by, and she just goes, "Put the fries in the bag," and he chases after her.
Yeah.
And he's
You
like,
put the fries
"I'm
in
gonna
the
kick
bag."
your butt."
Yes. You can see like the decision making in that too, because he goes from like, you put the fries in the, I'm gonna kick your butt.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think he's like starting to realize like everybody is like out to get him.
Well,
And so if anybody triggers that instinct, he just full on, he's like, "I'm gonna kick your butt." And he started kicking people the other night, so I'd be careful out there in New York, people. I think he means it.
so all I see in this clip is like he's like coming off of these stairs after talking to some dude, and then there's like a couple that's just standing like a few feet away, and like he starts running like past him, and then he stops and he goes and he kicks the dude, and then the dude's like, "What?" He's like, "What are you doing, man?" And then just starts coming after him, and Josh just like books it. He's like, I don't want any of that."
That the best, like I feel bad laughing because the whole situation is awful. But the guy doesn't want any help at this point, so I'm like, fuck it. I guess this is just what we're watching this train wreck. You know, like it's like we know there's a car parked on the track up ahead, and he's gonna hit it eventually, and we can't look away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's morbid. Well, do you know the rehab update with this guy Mayor Flanagan?
He said he was gonna go to rehab, but I didn't see anything after that. I just saw that he said, "Oh, I haven't had a drink in 12 hours," and he's like, "I did have a nightcap last night." You know, he loves that word nightcap.
He said, "I
don't know
hadn't had
why.
a drink in 12 hours," and then like just posted this morning, because that was his last night's stream, I think.
Yeah,
and then
no,
this
right
morning
back
he was
to it.
like, yeah, he was like stayed up all night partying, and he's like at some guy's house. He's with that guy something Ness.
I don't know.
Ness
He's
the
always with
kid,
somebody.
Yeah, it was some other streamer like guest thing. And I don't know if you know this, he's done a podcast, I think. They were supposed to do it Friday with Matan Evan, the Bill Clinton kid,
Oh,
which is
shit.
like the craziest crossover ever. 'Cause I love
my
Matan.
God. Yeah, dude, me
And-
too. I love
I've
Matan.
never seen him.
You've never seen a Bill
Oh,
Clinton kid?
you have. You totally
Dude,
have.
dude, no, there's a
I
clip.
maybe didn't know it.
There's a clip of Matan where he's like he's talking to these OnlyFans girls and like they're calling him stupid. And he goes like have you ever read a book before? You seem illiterate. And the girl's like, yeah, I read a book. He goes, okay, name 10 books. And she goes like, Game of Thrones. He goes, that's not a book.
It's like not a real title.
And then she's like, okay, you name 10 books. He goes, the Bible, the Quran.
Yeah.
Every version of the Bible, Book of Mormon.
He's really funny. He's like 15 or 16 too. So it's
Yeah.
like you're watching this like menace of a kid. It's like Stewie. I guess it's like kind of the same comedic humor of like a Stewie character in Family Guy, but it personified as a 16-year-old who's really smart.
He's very
actually
smart.
like, yeah, and he is getting these crazy guests on this podcast where it's kind of like Eric Andre level, kind of just.
Yeah.
It's an unserious podcast, and he gets these guests on there that kind of know but kind of don't, and he just gets these clips and is clip farming this whole thing. But it's so funny, it's so fun, and he's got like Sam Hyde. I think it's his biggest one.
Wow.
He did one with Sonny Soljic, the girl, the guy who played the kid in mid-90s, and then Atreus in God of War.
I'll have to check that one out. That's really cool.
Yeah, and he was like totally in on the joke. I think a lot of them are. It's obviously very funny and all in good jest, but like he's just so good. But like the crossover, that the episode of whatever it's gonna be with him and Mr. Bass is on there, and Josh, and Matan, and then I guess whoever, because Matan has his like guests that are like, he'll be like, okay, and my co-host, what is his name? The co-host that he always has, it's like just is just there for decoration, literally. Like he'll direct, yeah, he will direct his like co-host to stand there and just look like, he's like, okay, for the whole podcast, just stare at him and do not blink and just stand. And then for 45 minutes, this guy will just stand there and be like,
That's hilarious.
on the guest until the guest like towards the end will be like, sorry,
What is this guy's problem?
Yeah, exactly. Or like there was this one where it's like the table is moving or something. So like
Oh yeah, the table like gets up and walks away. Yeah.
that was incredible. So like 45 minutes of this podcast, they're sitting at like two tables here, and then
One just moves.
the guy doesn't know he has his friend hiding under this table for 45 minutes until just at a random cue, he just is like, okay, now. And then the guy just stands up, and then the table like runs away, but then it's just his friend under the table.
Well, so that clip is so crazy because it starts off with him asking if he thinks that like white people should be able to say the N-word or something like that.
Oh,
and
yeah. The table is moving.
And then the table gets up and walks away.
Yeah, I think that's the Sonny Soljic one, actually. Is that?
I think it
Maybe.
might be. But like, dude, so Matan, like, I got to go to the Matan lore for a second. So there's literally like, Hassan was streaming one time, like Hassan, like the political streamer. He was streaming, doing like, it was I think it was part of like the SAG protests, I think.
Okay.
And Matan shows up with a like a sign that says like, we love landlords. And just like the entire time is just like,
We love landlords. Chris, what does your shirt say?
oh, it's
Is that the dude?
yeah, that's just like your opinion, man.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
can't see all of it. I only see like the well.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
the dude.
That's sick,
Sure.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Matan's
Sorry,
great,
I
man.
got distracted by his shirt.
You're good.
Um,
Matan's
No,
great.
that sounds like a rabbit hole I have to
Yeah.
go down. But back to the world of t-shirts thing.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I was gonna compare it to Cloverfield, man. Whenever like Mr. Bass like like whenever Josh like goes psychotic and Mr. Bass is trying to calm him down, it's like that scene when the fucking Statue of Liberty head comes flying down the street.
Oh my
He's
God.
like, you know, like TJ Miller's like, oh my god, and Mr. Bass is like, no, Josh, no, Josh. It's literally that
Incredible.
chaotic, bro. It's so chaotic.
Yeah. Have you seen it live ever? Have you ever like gotten to watch it live?
No, I don't even know where he streams. Is it YouTube or?
It's YouTube. It's Mr. Bass NYC, and he's got like 30,000 viewers consistently. But a lot of people think it's like bots. 'Cause
It
it's
is
never-
bots.
Yeah.
Josh literally called him out on it. We talked about that last episode. He called him out on it. He's
Oh.
like, Josh was literally like, I did the voice and everything. I don't know if I should do it again, but he was just like, I don't think you actually have that many viewers. He's like, I'm pretty sure you got botted. And he's like, no, you put out a TikTok that got 1 million views. You know, he's like, it didn't get 1 million views. He's calling him out in the Uber, and Mr. Bass is like trying to skirt past it.
No.
I told Chris that Mr. Bass is like the little fish under the great white shark, and if the shark turns too quick, it like panics for a minute.
Oh. Oh. Yeah.
It's literally like all these, like I see all these videos where Josh posted them, and like he'll like say something, and at the end Mr. Bass is like trying to get in.
Yeah. I noticed that too. The Cloverfield thing is like especially true when you watch him live, just because
They're
especially
in New
when they go out there.
York, so like it looks like
exactly.
it.
And there's just like he kind of Mr. Bass has this like awareness when he's live streaming, especially on that. You see it on that clip where like Josh is like running up and down and kicking people. Like he will sometimes try to get like a cinematic angle and be like,
He got a shot of like his hat on the pavement.
yes, exactly. That was the one where I was like, okay, this guy's like, he knows what he's doing.
He's like living a movie.
Yes. And he just, I don't know how to feel about it. Obviously, just the surface level of it is it's kind of fucked up. But then at the same time, like, I'm interested. I'm just carefully leaning forward to see what is this like rehab arc. What is this like
I
legitimacy?
think it's
of-
bullshit. I
Yeah.
mean, he was like, I'm gonna cut back on hard liquor while I try to get better. And then like right
Yeah.
after that, they're like pounding twisted teas. I'm like, bro, that's like, I mean, yeah, hard liquor's worse, I think, because it's just like so potent, you know, and like concentrated. But it like, the scary thing, Ben, is that I mean we could have like a Amy Winehouse situation where like if you quit cold turkey, you literally die.
And Mr. Bass
True.
was encouraging him to do a fucking cover of Rehab, by the way, from Amy
What?
Winehouse. I don't
Oh
know if
my
you saw-
gosh.
I don't know if you missed that, but
No,
Yes, I
I'm
wanted
not
to say that.
surprised though. Did you see that video where Josh was like he was I mean the TikTok that I saw was like what the hell's going on Mr. Bass podcast? And like Josh is like recording a cover of a song and singing terribly with like his phone in a corner with a mic.
Forever
And
Drunk, right?
Mr. Bass turns the camera to himself and is like I'm just like
Yeah.
he's like making fun of Josh right there in front of him.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, it's such a toxic relationship. But it's like one of those toxic relationships where it's like, well, they are kind of perfect for each other. You know, like they both just feed into their each other's vices. Mr. Bass wants
Yeah.
fame, and
Yeah.
Josh wants somebody to just like babysit him while he's drunk because that's what he needs. Because I mean, it's literally like babysitting him. Like Josh will like get triggered by something, and Mr. Bass has to calm him down, or like the cops might get called. That's literally how it is. Like every time they go out on the streets at night.
I wonder. I think they both want fame. There's a lot of like crossover, I think, and the Michael Quinn situation is interesting too because there was an element of that too. Mr. Bass, I think, is just more gloves off and just like let's just make as much money as we can. It was unclear how much money like what Michael Quinn was making because he wasn't live streaming. There was no obvious like TTS kind of,
Right.
You can't like do the math of counting how much this guy made in a stream. And is paying Josh $100 a stream and then a hotel, but like Michael Quinn was doing these arrangements of like let's do a collab with Daniel Larson, and then let's do a collab with like this guy and other like figures in New York, which was kind of the same thing. And like Michael Quinn was like I'm an influencer, but then it just kind of dropped off. My whole thing with this rehab thing is I'm hesitant to believe this whole like because they say like, oh, Mayor Flanagan is funding it, and I stupidly thought, because I'm just uninformed, I thought the mayor of New York was this guy Mayor Flanagan. This just because the tone they say it is like sounds like he's the real mayor. And then it's just some fucking TikToker with like 20,000 followers
Yeah.
named Mayor_Flanagan. That's just like some guy who owns a bunch of dispensaries and has a lot of money to spend and is like trying to fucking clout chase. And it's like, is this even a real rehab? Is this the TikToker rehab?
Yeah. They're going to have like a staged rehab stream.
And because Michael Quinn did the same thing. He was like the Ice Yeti or like Yeti something. He's like, I'm sending Josh off for a week in Florida with Yeti, and he's gonna teach him. He's gonna give him a rehab thing. He's gonna change his life. And then that was when he came back with a captain hat, and it only did.
That was the origin of the captain hat, huh?
Yes. So there's just these arcs of I'm gonna solve Josh. I'm gonna solve Josh, and then it just furthers the problem. And I think it ends in tragedy. And there's a pretty damning clip of that, by the way, too, from Mr. Bass saying like, "I think it ends in death" or something like just this obvious.
Dude, I mean, like I said, you can't at the rate that he drinks and that he like. I mean, he gets the shakes, so he is a full blown alcoholic without a doubt. And when those people quit cold turkey, it can literally like stop their heart or some shit. So like that is the scary thing to me. But I mean, the other thing is when you drink this much every fucking day, after a couple of years, like you just get liver failure. Like you just straight up have liver failure.
Yeah.
Because your liver can't regenerate fast enough to keep up with that shit. So I don't see it ending well. I think I don't know, man. It's a developing thing. So I'm sure we'll talk about it again, but jeez, man. I just it's like watching a car accident, literally. You know?
I should say too, like recently, like in July, I lost a friend from high school from alcoholism, and there was this whole like crazy. It's very, no pun intended, sobering because you like are hearing, you're catching up with a friend from high school. You're hearing about it, like it was just I wasn't that close to them, but like I have a whole life growing up with this guy, and my friends like kept up with him, and they would tell stories like, yeah, John like has gained all this weight. Sorry, I shouldn't say his name. This guy's gained all this weight, and like, oh, at Thanksgiving you should have seen his hand was shaking and stuff, and it's like, it kind of comes in the form of this like drama, like as if we're kind of like talking about Josh now, where it's like, oh, did you see this? Did you see that? And like, it's all like, especially with Josh, it's difficult because it's so comedic and we're so safe behind this TikTok about this guy we don't know personally. But then like, I think for me, like hearing that one day, I got a call the morning of my birthday. Happy birthday, man. I also just want to let you know, he's gonna die today. John's gonna die today. He's on life support, and we're all here gathered at the hospital. And I was like,
dude,
what? The last time we talked about him, you were saying like how like scary it was at Thanksgiving, but like he'll probably be fine because we're playing on Discord with him every night. And so like, I think, not to kill the mood, but like I think that experience for me changed the perspective on the Josh situation, which is such a terrible tragedy looming, that it's gonna live and die as entertainment. Its end is the Netflix documentary that everybody keeps commenting about and saying,
yeah,
oh,
like it's gonna be a Netflix. It's gonna be a documentary someday because of how I mean, there's so much footage there. Like it's there's no way somebody doesn't capitalize on that. You know what I mean? And they're going to be interviewing Mr. Based, and and people will see how crazy like, oh yeah, this guy's been arrested several times for doing crazy shit. Like it's literally like watching a documentary like unfold in real time. Yeah, I mean, how long did he struggle with alcohol before that happened?
I mean, ever since he could buy it for himself, I think it was like a big wine guy, and it was just like. Every night he was just a cycle of the routine of work 9 to 5, Discord till midnight, drinking wine the whole time, and then wine afterwards, and just
You know, I thought about with my Coast Guard film, maybe harping on the alcohol thing, but I think it's just such a it's a subject that deserves like its own attention. I feel like, I decided not to like go too heavy into that because I saw so many guys in the Coast Guard struggle with it, man. I mean, I struggled with it for a little bit, like when I turned 21, because everybody wanted, like, it was like, oh, so and so just turned 21. Let's go get
Yeah.
wasted, and it's like I turned 21 like 5 months ago, like, but they're still using that as an excuse to go party. Like, oh, so and so didn't go out with us at one time, so we all have to go out and buy
Yeah.
better drinks. And I'm just like, damn, man.
Yeah, it's
Like,
this,
how do people do this every day?
and I think that was the pressure that got Josh into it too. It's just like I'm 21, I've unlocked the new thing, so therefore, like,
Well, I
you know,
just,
and- yeah.
I think, I think the fact that he's autistic also means that he doesn't have those same alarms that go off in his head. Like,
Mhm.
hey, like I probably shouldn't drink today because I drank so much yesterday, and like, like I've got responsibilities, and at the same time, he doesn't really have any responsibilities. Like like whenever I do see clips from those streams with Mr. Based, he's just sitting there drinking on his phone. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like he's like interacting with chat much or anything. The only time he'll like interact with chat is when a TTS comes up and pisses him off.
Yeah.
Or Mr. Bass will be like, yo, did you see what he said? And like he'll be like, no, what? And then he'll explain to him, and then like, that triggers him. Mr. Bass definitely like knows what his triggers are, and knows like, oh, like we need something entertaining to happen, so I'm going to like, bring this up, or I don't know. There's been so many awkward situations lately with them where I'm just
Yeah.
like one of their emails, like they just said their email out loud, and people are like, yo, he just like leaked somebody's email, stuff like that. um yeah, it'll be something we probably talk about in the future. Maybe next time Ben's on, I don't know. But we talked about that for a while, so I'm gonna do
All right.
the ad break. No, you're good. I mean, that was the main topic. I just we'll probably have to cut some other topics, which is not a big deal. um Quick ad break. Support us through Patreon. That is a way to directly support us and get access to benefits like 24-hour early access to the podcast, all kinds of stuff. I do a ton of giveaways, guys. Literally, it's like if you join the Patreon, you're gonna get some free shit. So, join the Patreon for as little as $1. If you want access to both G Field Tub giveaways every month, I think it's what, $10. It's like 10 or 20. I can't remember. It's like tier 4, I believe. To do both, or you can just do tier 3, which I think is the $10 one, which gets you the US one. Speaking of giveaways, I am giving away a starter kit code, and that is going to T Scraps, aka Piece of Scrap. So, congrats, Piece of Scrap. I will be messaging you on Discord in like the next 24 hours to give you your starter kit code. I already kind of teased we're doing some Halloween giveaways next month. Some Halloween Blu-rays. I've got like a Blu-ray to give away every week, including The Black Phone, which is a great film. If you have not seen it. Chucky Tub, Nightmare on Elm Street Tub. And then obviously use code DannyD for 20 to 30% off at gfuel.com. A bunch of new flavors just dropped. We got a fruity black tea flavor inspired by Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm terrible at anime names, but it sounds like a really good flavor. Electric Shock said it was like an 8.5, so that's showing up like any day now, and I'll be getting my review up. But I love tea flavors. G Fuel's tea flavors always go hard. And use code DannyD for 10% off Fit Butters. Ben, if you like nut butters, it does not get any better than that. I tried Brookie, which is like brownie cookie, and it's got cookie dough in it. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Yeah, so it's like a high quality nut butter, but each one has like something different mixed into it, like Oreos or M&Ms or something like that.
Okay.
So it's like a somewhat healthy snack.
Yeah.
You can put it on pancakes, toast, fruit, whatever the hell you want. I sometimes just take a spoon and eat it because it's it's good, and it's technically keto friendly. So, which I'm like on the fence right now about keto, because without getting into too much detail, because we have so much other stuff to talk about, I am getting a lot of auditions for like dudes who have to take their shirt off, and so I'm like, dude, I gotta like really step up my game, like with my physique, and make sure it's on point. So I might go back and forth with the keto depending on my needs. But I don't see myself going back to like full on eating carbs all the time because I've noticed that when I do that, my body's just bloated looking. Like that's just what happens when you eat carbs. And so this is one of those snacks that I can eat and it's low carb. So, but it's just delicious and high quality. Like, and it's so reasonably priced. It's like 15 bucks for a jar that comes with like 15 servings. And it's got like whey protein added to it so that like the protein is actually like usable by your body because I don't know. Some people don't understand the bioavailability, which is like a really nerdy term. But when you eat like nuts or plant protein, your body can't really absorb it like like protein from meat and stuff because it doesn't have all of the amino acids. And so they add a little bit of whey protein to the nut butter so that it is like actually absorbable, which is like really smart and actually like makes the product even more worth it. So get some Fit Butters. It's good stuff. They have like 20 flavors. I keep telling people it's like the G Feel of nut butters. So get you some Fit Butters. Code Danny D for 10% off. If you order 4 tubs, I believe you get free shipping. So
Cool.
On to our Patreon questions. Most of them seem pretty simple, so I think we'll get through these pretty quickly. I did tell them that Ben was going to be on, so I think we got at least one question for him. But there's a lot of them are broad. Tommy Slays asks, "What do you think about the Mr. Beast situation?" We've talked about it a lot, so I don't want to get into it too much.
There's a new thing that happened.
You can update us on that real quick, then.
So,
I guess.
Mr. Beast partnered with Logan Paul and KSI to make a Lunchables competitor called Lunchly.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Dude, what is your problem? Like, you guys are saying, oh, this stuff's healthier, and it's like literally not healthier at all." And then some Minecraft YouTuber that I used to watch like way back in the day was like, "Why are people selling stuff all the time? Like, can you guys just be YouTubers? Like, you guys are already doing just fine without having to sell crap to kids." And so everyone's just dogpiling on that entire group of people because it's like, first off, apparently the chocolate bars aren't actually that healthy. Second, Prime sucks. They talk about, oh, we have tons of electrolytes in there, and it's like it's not sodium.
It's salt.
Well, so the thing is, so Gatorade has sodium in it, which is the electrolyte that you want, and I think Prime, it's either, I want to say it's potassium or something like that, where that's what makes it sweeter, and it's technically an electrolyte, but it's not one that your body needs a lot of. And so it's like, yes, it has more electrolytes, but it's not electrolytes that you can actually use.
Gotcha. Yeah, but I like every time I see these products, I'm like, oh, it's got electrolytes. It's like, so it's got salt. Like, and you look and like they literally just, they pump it full of sodium, add some potassium and like some vitamins and call it a hydration drink.
And that's fine. Like, it's fine to say, hey, I have we have electrolytes in this drink because there's salt in it, because that's what you need, right? Like, you lose a lot of sodium just through sweat and just peeing it out or whatever. So like, you do use sodium a lot, but like, it's dumb when they try and do the electrolyte thing and it's mostly potassium or something like that because it doesn't help. It doesn't really do anything for you.
Yeah. Well, I think if I have anything to say about it, and then Ben, you can say anything if you want, but my biggest thing is I think it says a lot that they just straight up very blatantly targeted kids with this one. Yeah. Like the target demographic for this thing is kids. And so, like you said, it's like, come on, I'm sponsored by G Fuel. I have the Fit Butters, but I'm not over here starting my own company and then like literally every day posting about it. Like, this is, my business and you guys got to buy it or else, like I'm not making content anymore. Cause that's the kind of stuff I see is people will start their business and like try to force it down their audience's throat. And to me, that is like, one, like I said, it makes it seem very blatant about the fact that you're doing this for money, and then two, it's like, why can't you just like make content and because you can make good money just making content that is valuable or entertaining. You know what I mean? Like it does something for the audience, whether it entertains them or helps them learn something useful. And so when they resort to just like buy my merch and buy this thing that I came up with, like it just feels like, I'm just here to get paid kind of thing. And that's the vibe I've gotten from them for a long time now. Like, you think they're doing YouTube boxing because like
they love boxing?
It's a legitimate like sport. It's like, no, they just know they can make a lot of money doing it. Yeah. So that's all I have to really say about it. I mean, got anything, Ben?
I mean, there's a South Park episode loosely about this already. I mean,
Right.
it was mainly like digging on Prime, but like just seeing how that's kind of developed and people are double tripling down on it is kind of crazy. And I think like I'm just curious, like what does that conversation look like, and what is the nexus of that idea for them? Because it's like knowing that kids need a mascot and like a mascot for like their everyday life, and like they function off of obsessions, like for example obsessing over Star Wars as a kid. You want to have um Star Wars lunchbox, Star Wars like pajamas, Star Wars fruit snacks, Star Wars, and things like that. It's like innocent and pure. And I think like something about a YouTuber having Mr. Beast themed that is I don't know. There's just something a little bit weird about it. I get like he probably doesn't see it that way. The team doesn't, and he sees it as a company. I get that. Um, but it's easy for us to see it as like this one single guy wants to take over, you know, this
I think
like
why
thing.
people have like an issue with it is because I mean Mr. Beast has the most YouTube subscribers period now, right? And it's
Yeah.
Right.
like it's the same thing. I mean, it made so many movies about this core concept. With great power comes great responsibility, and it just seems like all they care about is just making more money. Like
Mhm.
I don't know, man. I think it's really interesting to see people talk about how Mr. Beast has done all these like good things, and when one bad thing happens, they kind of like just it's almost like none of that other stuff matters. And
Yeah.
I don't really agree with that. You know what I mean? Like what I don't agree with, and the big thing that kind of upset me about Mr. Beast and made me think, okay, I don't want to support this guy or buy his products anymore, is the stuff about the reality show. Because now we're talking about sets and stuff, and Ben and I do know about what makes a set good or bad, and to hear that the conditions they had during his reality show were like, I mean, people literally had to like go to the hospital because like they didn't have basic
Yeah,
human
is
needs
that the
taken
one
care
where
of.
somebody like on 9/11, like a tower fell on them, and they had to be hospitalized? You hear about that?
I don't know,
Which
man.
I,
I
I was
just
like,
What?
what are the odds? Yeah, so they were doing some video, or I don't know if it was part of the reality show or what, but they were filming something, and I kid you not, on 9/11 when they were filming it, a tower fell on somebody. Like, what are the odds of that happening on that
yeah.
day?
I
Okay.
think we can move on from this. This is so
Yeah.
ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. Like I try to be very clear and harp on it all the time that content creation obviously like pays my bills. But if it was about the money, I would be doing so many things differently. And I think that Mr. Beast is to that point where he's got a team of 100 people and the obvious goal is how can we make money and keep escalating things and make more money and like bigger and better and blah blah blah, and it's just like you don't have enough money to take care of a reality show.
I
Mhm.
What
just
the fuck?
I just don't know why they chose now of all times to release a product, because the uh, the Ava Chris Tyson thing happened like not that long ago.
Oh, don't worry, he fired right away. It's not like he knew.
Well, but
Anyways,
it's like it'd be like if someone was like, "Oh man, like I just found out that 90% of McDonald's burgers have like E. coli in them." Oh, okay. Hey guys, guess what? We're coming out with a new chicken sandwich, and it's like, why are you announcing a new like, say you fix this first problem and like give it some time to heal, and then you could start like trying to sell us stuff again. But like right now, like it's just the wound
well,
is still open.
I wonder if Lunchables is gonna be like, yo, what the hell? You can't just like make false claims about our product because like I know Logan
Mhm.
Paul was saying like, oh, they got lead in theirs or something like
Yeah,
that.
well then I know he
It's
got
like the whole G Fuel thing all over again.
yeah he got community noted for that because they were like, well, there's lead in Prime too.
It's in everything.
Yeah.
Lead is in. I think I heard them talking about on PKA about how like when like atoms and cells degrade, they like partially turn into lead. It's just lead is in everything. It is just a chemical makeup of everything in front of you. Like
Well,
everything has a little bit of
I,
lead in it.
I, I wouldn't I wouldn't I wouldn't use PK as an example because sometimes they're just like straight up wrong.
Right, but like lead is just
But lead
it's
is
found in
yeah.
everything, or like organic matter has lead in it. You have lead in your body right now, and this is just the way life is. And like to call that out is like a problem that only shows that like general society doesn't know how shit works, but they also just repeat shit without fact checking it, you know? So, and for somebody with that much influence to spout something like that, just it's irresponsible, you know? So fuck that. That's bullshit. Anyways, Super Dude 01 says, since I asked about favorite movie soundtracks last week, what's your guys' favorite movie score? Moneyball is, I think, up there for me. I love the score of Moneyball.
I'm surprised you didn't say
Really good one.
Inception.
I like Inception, but Moneyballs makes me like feel a certain type of way. I don't know.
See, because for me, it's between The Dark Knight and Inception. Like those are
There,
like
there's so many good ones. Like you can literally like close your eyes and throw a dart and land on one. That's great. So, but Moneyball was the first one that came to mind when I saw that question. So
That's really good. I'd say like without naming a Hans Zimmer one, like obviously the Chris Nolan ones are incredible.
Interstellar. Holy
Interstellar,
shit.
yeah, of course.
Holy shit. So good.
The Last of Us Part 2, if that counts, I think is a really.
It did say
wonderful
movie.
score.
It does say movie.
Okay.
Fuck out of here with that. No, I'm just kidding.
I listen to that one so much, but I would say like The Gift with Joel Edgerton has
Really?
always stayed with me, and then Raw from Julia Ducournau has also always stayed with me.
The Thing is probably my favorite horror score.
Oh, Challengers! Challengers was great.
I
by the way.
rewatched that recently,
And-
like a couple nights ago.
Yeah.
The flaws stood out a lot more to me.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Like I lowered it by
crap on
half
the
a
movie.
star. No, I mean like I think it's really well made, but I think that I legitimately think the screenplay is the weakest aspect, man.
How so?
I think that I mean I've got to actually read the screenplay to see how it's executed. I don't know if you have. Have you? Is it out there?
I've seen some pages from it. I was really impressed actually.
It's really well written.
Yeah.
I'm just curious how much of it relies on the time jump stuff, because I think without the time jump stuff, it's a really boring story.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, like I think story wise, like it's very soap opera-y.
Sure.
And like the second time watching it, I was like, yeah, a lot of this is really cheesy. And like not only that, I felt that like I obviously think that what's her face? Zendaya is a big reason the movie got the budget it did. But I do not buy her one bit as a 30-something-year-old at all.
Is that the one where she was like, oh yeah, I now I know what
That
movie
is-
you're talking about. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Every time they like kind of like switch back and forth, I had to like I'm like, okay, obviously her hair's shorter and stuff, but she still looks like a young 20-something-year-old, and we're supposed to believe that she's like married and has a kid that's like
Well,
5 or whatever. And it's just like,
that's how I felt about Tom Holland with Uncharted. He just looks way too young for
Oh.
that role.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, but I think the movie is pretty well rounded otherwise. Like I think it's a really solid like 4-star movie, but I definitely don't see myself watching it anytime soon. I think the editing and cinematography, and also the score, because it's Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. They pretty much can't do bad at this point. But I don't know. There's something about how it's executed that is phenomenal. But I just think that story wise, there's things that could make it more rewatchable, I guess is what I'm getting at. Like I didn't feel like the rewatchability was worth it. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. Like this is really like entertaining, but like I didn't feel like I got anything the second time that I didn't the first time. Does that make sense? Is that that's what I'm harping on, I guess.
I can feel that experience from like watching other movies. Like just the second time doesn't hit as hard because the question isn't there, and the
Yeah.
suspense is definitely not
My
as-
wife was like, why did people go crazy about this? And I'm like, you didn't like think it was awesome? She's like, it was good. But she was like, I just, you know, I think she watches a lot of like formulaic TV shows like NCIS and all that shit. So like when it comes to
Okay.
like like soap opera type of drama. She's like seen it all a million times, so none of that really surprised her. Um, she also was like, she said that it felt kind of predictable to her, and I've seen other people say that about it. So I don't know. That moment, that one moment that I told you about with the score though, and like the windy stuff, um, still hits. But I really don't like the kissing scene when it like frame rate drops and shit. I hated that. The second time I was like, oh god, why did they do that?
Mm.
The film otherwise is so like technically beautiful, and then like they just do this like corny shit. Anyways, enough talking about challengers. My bad.
Yeah.
Like it does have a great score, but Louis Hebert says if you could be in any movie, what would it be and why?
Challengers.
Challengers. I don't know. I don't even feel like. No offense to you, Tommy. I don't feel like answering that question because as an actor, I there's like a moral dilemma that comes up a lot in acting classes and stuff when people are like, "Oh, if you could be in anything, what would it be?" And like, I don't know. It feels like it brings up a lot of selfish things, you know? Like, oh yeah, I would love to be in like oh, I would love to be in a Christopher Nolan movie. Like, oh, I would love to be in Inception and stuff like this. Just like, bro, like
I mean,
it's a piece of art. You don't mess with it.
even
you know?
like a Star Wars movie, like that'd be kind of cool. Just walk around and be like, oh man, there's like stormtroopers
cool.
everywhere.
I would love to be a stormtrooper or something. Like that's a fun
Yeah.
little thing. But other than that, like I don't know. I'm totally content with things that I've worked on and the things that I've, that will come along in the future just because that's the path that I'm on.
Well,
But I don't know,
so
Ben, you got anything?
If there was a Last of Us.
Last movie? No, I never. I wouldn't be able to function. The I would say like a Sean Baker movie would be really cool because no, a Safdie brothers movie would be really wonderful. I think
okay.
because I want to know how they direct and like the way they bring out performances from like celebrities and stuff that like are first time actors. Like Kevin Garnett, I thought in Uncut Gems was really unique and like just the humanity they brought out of him. I think for me, as an actor and just like as a person, I would want to like be pushed to a boundary that like I'm not normally comfortable with. But I noticed that their work is kind of signature for that. They also just got Tyler the Creator for their new one with
saw that, yeah.
With Timothy Chalamet about ping pong. I think
it's probably gonna be fire.
It is what it is. I think something like that would be cool. I also, again, Raw. I love the world of Raw and like that style of the director, Julia Ducournau. That's a person that really pushes boundaries and asks a lot of her characters. They're all female characters, really, but like, I think she's.
We are gonna go over our time.
Yeah.
Is that okay, Ben?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. No. I'm just letting you guys know. I'm looking at my timer and it's like, it's almost been an hour and 20 minutes. You mentioned Sean Baker. He's the one who did a Nora, right? That's like about to come out.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that, and I'm excited to see The Life of Chuck, which is Mike Flanagan's new film. Have you seen that? Like,
okay. I saw some
it won like it won like the People's Choice or whatever, and they say that like for the last 12 years, every movie that's gotten that award has been nominated for Best Picture, which I thought was an interesting little thing. Yep. So I feel like maybe they'll be like, oh, well, they're on to us. We're not nominating it then. But I'm also excited to see what's his name, Loki, in that. Like I'm sure his performance is great.
Tom Hiddleston, right?
Yeah. I was like, is it Tom Hiddleston? I feel like I'm thinking of Tom Holland. You know what I mean? Yeah. But one of the THs.
What about you though, Chris, for your movie?
Oh, honestly, like I when I said Star Wars, I did genuinely like mean it because like
okay.
Like that.
I want to be in Magic Mike. Magic Dorito.
Don't tell them that.
Or he's like, when I said challengers, I really meant it.
No, yeah. No, but
I want to be Zendaya.
I do think it'd be really cool, like to just see how they like set up those props and like, cause I mean like a lot of those guns that are in those movies are like real guns that they've like sci-fi-ified, right? So like it's just seeing like where they get all inspiration from, and then like also just being there with all the different costumes. What are you smirking over? Like,
I thought of that fucking scene where he's like, close the blast doors, close the blast doors, open the blast doors, open the blast.
well, aside from like the old ones, because the old ones they were a lot more like, I don't know, they because they were trying to be serious, they ended up having more goofs. I think like a newer Star Wars movie, like, and I don't mean like sequel trilogy, but like the prequels probably would have been a really cool like experience, because it's like they had the budget, but they hadn't gotten like weird yet. So
Just suck a big doo doo this time.
yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I think genuinely though, like,
Are you an angel?
dude, there's been random thing, but there's been so many things where there was like a channel that I was watching where he does a lot of like video essays, and he was talking about how like the Phantom Menace was just like, it does not hold up, dude. Like
No.
that movie, like some people were like, oh
It's
no,
fun.
it's
Like it's entertaining, but
like, well, because people try and come back, they're like, the movie's great. Like, what are you talking about? And it's like, no, if you go back and watch it, it's like, what were they thinking? Like, first off, Anakin, they should have chosen an actor who was a little bit older, because like he wasn't old enough to act. I think like it just he wasn't there yet.
it almost feels like a B movie with a big budget. Is that a
Yeah,
good way of putting it?
yeah,
Like there's a lot of cheesy stuff about it that like I think people just kind of forgave at the time because it was Star Wars and like Star Wars could do no wrong, you know? But Jar Jar was definitely like, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen like that. Have you guys seen that behind the scenes footage where he's watching like the rough cut
yeah.
and he just goes, I think I may have gone a little too far with the Jar Jar Binks character.
Well, I don't think he specifically says.
not
I don't
seen
think he
that.
specifically says it was about Jar Jar Binks. But
It
he
was.
does. He does.
I
Well,
could find the clip.
he doesn't say it, but what he was
does.
talking about it. There's no way. I don't
He
think
literally
so.
says, I think I went too far with the Jar Jar Binks character.
Oh, fuck.
I don't. You have to find it. But I don't think it's.
And you can see in his head, he's like, "Can I
Oh,
fix this?" And he's
no.
like, "Fuck, he is in
Well,
the movie so much."
Yeah, they recut it and everything like a few times, and they just couldn't get it to be like the.
Well,
the,
I hear people. I've heard people talk about how I think it was either A New Hope or something, but like Mark Hamill literally was like, people don't talk like this. Like
Yeah.
he really like policed his dialogue, and I think the other actors were like, oh, he's letting them do that. I'm gonna change my dialogue too because this dialogue's clunky. And so when it came to the prequel trilogy, it's just that's the dialogue, and you're gonna say it because I'm fucking George Lucas, and I made this fucking trilogy myself. You know, like it's just like the complete opposite.
the last thing I'll say about Star Wars is I still remember there was some like parody of Episode 3. I think you probably remember it, but like that's where the "You are quite the poo poo head" that meme came from, where it was like Anakin and Obi-Wan are like, you know, they're having their little pissing match, right? And then
Yeah.
like he gives them a note written in crayon. And
Yeah,
he,
yeah.
he gives them a note written in crayon. It says, "You're a poo poo head." Like, it's like the best
like
thing that came from that trilogy, dude.
It reminds me of the Benchwarmers when the one
Yeah.
like Mexican guy like shows up and he's like drinking and like I'm here to play baseball, and then he's like, you're not, he's like, these are kids, man, you're not, and he's like, hands him this piece of paper and he looks at it, it says I am 5 or whatever,
It says,
and it's like written in crayon.
I'm 12.
Yeah, I'm 12.
It's written,
I'm 12 in
it's,
crayon.
it's written in crayon. There's like a 20 in there, and he's like, he just
And he just
pockets it
takes
really quick. Yeah.
All right, let's play some ball. On to the next thing. Nick asks, what is your favorite genres of music if you had to pick one? If I had to pick one, I think I would pick alternative because it encompasses like everything else. Like I feel like alternative is that genre that kind of like blends genres. Otherwise I would probably go with like synthwave or something like that because I keep going back to it. I love electronic music. I love how it makes me feel. Like, I don't know. I really do think, I mean, they've literally shown studies that music affects the brain the same way like a drug does. Like, you literally get dopamine from it. And so I think music that makes me feel some kind of way. Yeah, man, that's the stuff I go back to. So alternative and synthwave, electronic music in general. I don't know. There's so many different subgenres. It's insane. But what about you, Chris?
I don't know. See, because I like a lot of like electronic music. There's a genre where it's called future funk. What they'll do is they'll take like old, um, like funk and disco music from like the '80s, and then they will give it more of a modern feel. And like
That's cool.
that stuff can sound really good, but it's so much of it is like very like weeb focused. And so like they put in like random anime noises, and I'm like, well, that ruined it for me. Like I'll find some where
Mhm.
they don't do that, and it sounds great. But whenever they start putting like random weeb stuff in it, I'm like, I don't get what this is referencing. I don't know what this person's saying, and it sounds like a little girl. I don't want this in my music. So I'm like, like if that genre could be a little bit more like the specific sound that I want, I would totally pick that one specifically. But like because it's so hard to get the exact sound that I want from like a lot of different like electronic genres, it's just better to just pick the entire like
Yeah.
spectrum of
Well,
that.
Ben, have you heard that song "Home" by or no "Resonance" by Home?
Yeah.
No, is that what's
Oh,
TikTok song?
you've definitely
You've
heard
heard
it on
it.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like Chris, that is one of those songs where I'm like, if nobody else uses it and I have the opportunity to put it in a film, right
Dude.
away, boom, like putting it
So
in there. It's
um
such a vibe.
I'm
Look it up right now, Ben. Listen to that shit.
so there's a channel that I will bring up during the recommendations later that's related to that. But I'll save that for when we get there.
I might even know what it is.
Oh, I know
Maybe
this
I
song,
don't.
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
fucking good, right? There's been so many like music videos made for it, like just fan music videos. Like there's one where there's like a dog just driving around in a car.
Yeah.
Fucking love that shit. Yeah, that song's great. I really want to put that in something. Um,
Mhm.
what about you, Ben? Whatever genre The Last of Us Part 2 soundtrack is?
No, I like according to Spotify, my most listened to is French indie tronica, which is
Holy shit, that's a
weirdest thing I've
subgenre.
ever heard. But it's French artists that sing in English is what I really really like, and it's like kind of
Oh,
interesting subgenre that I found from when I saw Raw for the first time. Like there was this band called The Doe on there that was like it's just one of the songs like their party scenes. It was like a one shot sequence, and they had a song, and I shazammed it in the movie theater, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And like this girl's voice is out of this world, and it just sparked this from that one song. Just sparked this entire like for the last 7 years. Like I've been crazy into that, and I just get so much creative inspiration from it, and like it feels good. Like you were saying about the dopamine thing. Like I think what you were describing about what you feel from the
like the music
what
I've been
song?
showing you for Always
Yeah.
Ready. Like it just taps into an emotion,
Yeah,
you know?
I think for me, like the French female vocals, like kind of they come with a lot of swagger and like just their lyrics, especially because like French is their first language, but then English is like a second language. Their lyrics are a lot more deliberate. I'm getting too technical about it, but like it's just
No,
very
you're good.
deliberate, like swag, confident kind of stuff that's like really cool, and I always pick something new from it every time. So I think I would stay with that forever. I would say metal. I
Metal
love
is pretty
metal,
good.
and Metallica still is my favorite band ever.
Modern metal
Let them
kind
go.
of sucks. Modern metal kind of
Yeah.
sucks.
Oh, have you heard the new the singer for like Linkin Park?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything
I
beyond the clip that's viral about her singing "Numb."
I am
Yeah.
fine with her. I'm fine with the album that they're coming out with from Zero, like because that has to do with where their name came from. Yeah, I like the Emptiness Machine, the song. I do not like when she covers their old music.
I
It
agree.
just it's like nails on
Oh,
chalkboard.
okay.
Yeah.
It just feels wrong.
Yeah,
And
they did one
Chet
live, and I was like, oh.
Chester's mom came out and said that she thinks it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's a weird situation, but I did like the song they released. I'm
I have to
gonna
hear
listen
it.
to the new album. It's good. It
Cool.
feels like Linkin Park, just without Chester, and but similar vibe. Like I can see why they picked her. But I know a lot of people have a big issue with the fact that she's a Scientologist.
What the
Oh,
heck? Wait,
didn't
wait,
know
wait.
that.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's a big thing. People are like, "Oh, so this is a
This,
Scientology plug."
yeah, she's an industry plant. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, an industry plant. Um, that the one last thing I'll say about music is, I also think it can tap into memories. Like,
Yeah.
like there's something about like when like a song is associated with a memory, like what I've done. Like I've talked about it so many times about how like that came out at a time in my life where like it just literally gives me chills every time I hear it. It brings me straight back to those memories. And so I like same thing with like Drive. The music in that just really taps into like high school and how I was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do with my life and joining the Coast Guard and stuff. You know, like that. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Music is a weird thing, and I don't know, Ben. I when it comes to filmmaking, I know people can rely on it too much. You know what I mean? Like they can rely on music too much to guide the story and how they want the audience to feel.
Yep.
And so that's something I've really tried to avoid. But at the same time, I'm like, it's a tool that I want to use, and like, there's so many times in movies where I see it used wrong, and so I'm like, I want to like actually like have people hear the whole fucking song. You
It's
know?
cool, yeah. When it's earned, it's like really earned. And like watching The Substance last night in the middle of the climax with like where it gets really, just chaotic after
Yeah.
the third title card. After the third title card drop, you'll understand what I mean. And it just the whole thing with the crowd. I was like kind of irked that like the score was great. It was good music, but I was just like, fucking play Raining Blood by Slayer or fucking do something. Just you've earned it. Do a fucking drop
Yeah.
do the expensive needle drop here because it will be so cool and like flex
Yeah.
a little bit. Show us your music taste and like just do something. And I think like it's a tough tightrope to balance because I really fucking struggle with that. Like I gotta incorporate music so head on and so much, and I've got a lot of the notes I get on my shit is like, dude, you turned your movie into a music
Yeah.
video here.
Well,
Like,
I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with certain parts of your film feeling like a music video if it's narratively driven and it like makes
Yeah.
sense. You know, like
Yeah.
like a one shot or a montage or something like that. And the thing with Pollo Loco that I've noticed is most people seem to think the music choices that I made were perfect. There's other people who are just like, I would never listen to this music and I hate it. And so like I think that's how you know you did something right because it really it's very specific and like it's obviously what I chose. It was part of a
Yes.
vision.
Yes.
I think when people use mainstream music like Super Mario Bros did and stuff like that, it's so forgettable. You know what I mean? It's like so much money spent for something that nobody talks about. You know? Like I think Take on Me during that whole like Mario Kart sequence was great, but it was over too quick. You know?
Yeah, and the Thunderstruck part was really cool. I mean, on that one, like, there's less so of like a director's voice. I think it's just more of just like the feel, like,
Pop culture. Yeah.
yeah, very forwardly. Like, what's the obvious feeling? Oh, we're feeling cool and fast, so Thunderstruck. But like, movie, The Leftovers is really where I got inspired from. This is like their use of Take on Me is out of this world. I think where it's just like the
Yeah.
last song you would expect to hear. You know the scene I'm talking about, right? With
They have a lot of like covers and stuff in that,
yeah,
right?
and their choice.
Like Where Is My Mind?
Yeah, there's so many moments throughout The Leftovers, especially season 3, that just it's like shocking you use that song and it works so good and it just opens like your mind, I think, creatively to like
Wait,
inspiration on some scenes.
Chris, have you seen The Leftovers?
Nope.
Oh,
That
dude,
show
it's the best show.
fucks, bro. That show is so good. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's like, but like in a great way. Like the whole show is unpredictable because of it.
Yes.
There's so many amazing performances. It's always so weird and keeps you wondering and making you ask questions. And they purposely like pick and choose what to answer. Mom and Dad loved it. Like I don't think I've met a single person who watched it and didn't at least find it somewhat enjoyable. And it's 3 seasons, straight to the point, doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's got a satisfying ending that feels very realistic and well thought out. But like the whole show is just like mind blowing. You got to watch that. So fucking good. Definitely put it at the top of your list. Like The Penguin just dropped and it's amazing, but I would say watch that first.
Was it on?
HBO
X. Yeah.
Max, yeah.
Oh, I don't have that.
I'll have to like wait for it to be on sale on Vudu and just buy it or whatever. But yeah, no, you gotta watch The Leftovers, man. Like that show just leaves you like, damn. But like it's so good.
After all these years.
It's one of those shows where like episodes will focus on certain characters and like the character development for some of them is just like I could watch a whole show about this character. Like the freaking the pastor, preacher, whatever is.
Yep.
What are you doing?
Help me out, Ben.
I'm trying to bother Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyways, music is awesome. Tyler Moen asks, "What has been?" Oh, this is for Ben. What has been the hardest part of working on films, whether it's your own projects, others, etc. And there's a second half of the question, but I guess answer that first. What's the hardest thing about working on films for you?
I would say I have a great answer for this, and I'm going to give you a movie recommendation with that. If you're a filmmaker yourself, you should absolutely watch this movie called My First Film. It just came out on Mubi, M-U-B-I, Mubi, the saviors of cinema, the greatest streaming service ever right now. And they also bought The Substance.
Yeah.
There is a movie that captures this exact answer and perfectly and artistically, and it's the most effective thing. But the process of making your first feature, and like, or not even feature length thing, if you're not making a feature, just the first big thing that's like, I'm pushing boundaries on how much I'm asking people in terms of time. I have little to no money. I am asking the most amount of faith I've ever had to ask of somebody before, and they're personal friends, or like some of them are acquaintances, and I'm having to this favor that I'm asking and this involvement of this film is going to push them to this. It's going to speed run this acquaintance to friend to best friend kind of thing, and it's like going to feel forced, and it's going to be like difficult, like how it affects your relationships with people and the desperation you have at your early stages of, I need to get this done, because people don't take you seriously unless you've taken a giant leap of faith. But then the process of taking a giant leap of faith requires so much from other people, and you try to throw everything upon yourself to like, I'll carry the most burden, I'll do that. And for me, it was, I'm going to star in my first feature film, I'm going to write, direct it, edit it, I'm going to produce it, I'm going to do all the thing, I'm going to finance it, I'm going to do the whole thing, so that we have to ask the least amount of favors from the amount of people. But it's like, even then you still have to ask favors. That is the most difficult thing, especially when you're not like a very open, like I'm more of an introvert, and like that experience kind of brought that sort of extroverted persona out of me. You have to be assertive, you have to be a leader, and if you're not confident in that, if it just takes you into this comfort zone, indie filmmaking, whether it's a feature or a high level short. And I think Derek could speak to that on Pollo Loco. It just asks so much of you to be a leader, and there's moments where it goes quiet on set, and at the end of the day you have to accept like nobody's going to care about this as much as you, the director, and everyone is in subtle agreement with that. No one's going to, like, if you have a moment of like a brain fart, like no one's going to say, oh, you mean this, and it's going to be exactly what you think. Like, someone might try to do that, they're going to be wrong more than likely, but you're the only person who has your back is yourself, and it's a confidence thing. And the aftermath of the first feature is the thing that nobody talks about. And the thesis of the movie My First Film is this director coming out of having made her first feature, burned every bridge she had, it got into no festivals whatsoever.
I gotta watch this fucking movie. Oh.
It is. I think it's the best movie this year. It's one of the best movies I've seen in my life. It's I cannot place anything above it. It's a.
I don't know, dude. Oh, Borderlands came out this year. Okay. Like,
okay. All right.
The masterpiece that is Borderlands.
Yeah. It was so emotional, and like I watched it in front of my grandma, and like she doesn't know like fully like that I hit how deeply I related to that film, and I wish I had watched it by myself because I would be sobbing like just endlessly. It was so.
Oh.
But the whole thesis of this movie is this girl is saying, how come nobody talks about this? And then her friend answers, how come her question is, how come I'm the only person that this has happened to? Am I? Why is nobody else talking about this? And then she says, it happens to a lot of people. It's just that nobody talks about it. And that was her goal with making this endeavor called My First Film, which is this narrative / documentary blend of the time she made her first film and what she learned from it and how it's kind of molded her. And it's I can't express enough, but like the feeling of getting into no festivals after you, and just the world spins the same way at the same pace after you finish the greatest, hardest thing of your whole life, and burnt all these bridges for nothing. Like, it's who you are in that moment that is going to define you as an artist, as a human, as everything for the rest of your life. And it's going to challenge you the most. And if you can come out from that and get behind the camera again and get like type that fucking script again and even think of it and put the work in again, I think you will for sure have what it takes to be great, and you will like be unstoppable. You'll be an artist. You'll be a filmmaker. You have to go to rock bottom to get out of it. That's the hardest thing.
Beautifully put. I think one of the things about filmmaking that, like you said, nobody talks about is the fact that you are, when you are the person solely in charge of a project, like with Pollo Loco, I think that what I got on set would have been so much worse if I did not have you there, Ben, to really like make me feel confident about the vision and what it was we were trying to get. You know what I mean? Like, and I will forever be in debt to you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll do it again on a feature length.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome, and I think it's just gonna be even like more fun because it's not our first time doing something like that together.
Yeah.
I think the thing that people don't really think about is like you said, everybody's like, oh, I want to be a movie director. Like, that's just something somebody will say, and they have no idea what that means. They think, oh yeah, I just tell people what to do. No, man. Like, when you are, dude, this is like creeping me out how much it taps into like always ready stuff. But like, no matter how tired, how frustrated, how bogged down by other stuff going on in your life you have to will it into existence. And the only person's going to make sure that it is the way that you want is you. And if you do not 100% commit to that, you're going to end up unhappy with what you get. And I think Pollo Loco really taught me that like the collaboration aspect of it is probably the hardest thing for me, because you have to be willing to fight for your vision. There was times when we were making that movie where somebody would want to do something a certain way and I had to tell them no. Like, I just know. Like, I know that it like hurts your feelings that like you want it this way, but I no offense, I put 20 grand down for this thing and we're gonna do it my way. Like, I'm the director, the writer, producer, whatever. Like, we're doing it my way. And I think that real filmmakers understand that it's not personal when you do that. That I mean, it's personal for me because I'm the one making the film and making sure that it ends up the way that I envisioned. But when it comes to telling you, like, no, I'm not going with your idea, that goes back to the idea that best idea wins, right? And sometimes people don't see why you think your idea is the best idea in that scenario, but I think it's important to listen to people and hear them out. Like, I think that's one of the most important things, because I hear so many horror stories about like, some actor quits because creative differences, and it's literally just like the director is like, no, I won't hear you out. I won't even let you like express an idea that could make the film so much better if you would just like put it into consideration. I mean, like, if you're in crunch mode or something, I can understand like, oh, you just don't have time to listen right now. But I don't know, like, especially during the planning process, I'm really open, because I think planning is, for me, been the biggest savior. Like, it will come down to like the most tedious things, but it's like, I know if I plan it out, like with the stolen G Fuel thing, I thought of every fucking thing I could have and the shoot went so smoothly. We were able to film a post credit scene that I came up with on the spot because we had the time because everything else was planned so well. And
Mhm.
and like I mean that's like the dream right there is to have extra time, which people always complain they never have. And it all comes down to the planning. I think the one thing that I'm gonna try with Always Ready that I haven't done yet is rehearse the fuck out of it, whether it's over
Yeah.
Zoom or
Yeah.
whatever. Because I heard Kevin Smith say the other day, he's like, I only do 1 or 2 takes of everything because it comes down to, is it good enough? Like you might not have the perfect take, but is it good enough to work with?
Yeah.
That's what saves money, and that's what allows you to make films at a low budget that still are considered good. Because I think a lot of people go into their first couple of films not realize how much planning it takes, and then like the day arrives and they don't even have a shot list, and it's like how I can't imagine trying to shoot something as a director and you don't have a shot list. That's wild to me, but people do
Yeah.
it all the time, and sometimes they come out with something good, and it's just like
Yeah.
such a gamble. But I could never do it. Anyways, to move on, because I know Chris is sitting here like I have no idea. I'm not talking.
Yeah.
But obviously Ben and I are very passionate about filmmaking. But the other thing, and I guess you can keep this short. Uh, he asked, "What are some of the hardest struggles you've dealt with, and how did you get over them?" So I guess the best way to address it would be like, how do you get over, like how do you get yourself through hard times?
I'd say like writing. On that front, it's been really difficult because it's realigning on what I need versus what I want is the hardest thing, I think. And for me as a writer coming out of film school, went to Chapman for screenwriting in grad school, graduated May 2020, March, so the worst time to graduate. And you're getting these Zoom calls with these, high level professors. You're the master's students. You're supposed to be the best of the best, right? And they're just kind of throwing their hands in the air when we're just kind of like, what do we do? And you have that, and then you have Melania Trump's like, it's a good time to learn a new hobby and go outside and all that shit. And I'm just like, fuck me. And I played Call of Duty
Yeah,
Warzone and became a streamer.
Yeah.
I felt that a lot when I got out of the Coast Guard. Like it felt like everybody was telling me, "What are you doing? Stay in." Like they
Yeah.
offered you a 6 months extension. Why aren't you taking it? And it's like because I just spent the last year planning out what I'm gonna do, and now you're telling me I shouldn't do any of it. That to
Yeah.
me was so frustrating because like the whole world was telling me like, don't do what you've been thinking about doing for the last year and a half. Like it's
Yeah.
a terrible idea. And
Yeah.
part of me was like, I refuse to let that stop me. And I think
Yeah.
without that situation, I definitely wouldn't be here right now.
I think the thing that got me through that was just clinging to, if I could not, I was a terrible accountability partner for myself to like write, because I just dropped all the writing after that. I was, what am I doing for work? I'm still trying to be a writer. I need to get a manager. I need to get a manager. I need to get a manager. And it was just like kind of mystifying these people as like gatekeepers that will just give me jobs, meetings, and everything. And letting go of that was such and just the fact that like my career and my fate was defined by this person who's a gatekeeper and needs to like me or not like me, and my shit is inherently hard to like because I like coming of age shit, and it's not like low hanging fruit sci-fi horror stuff that just sells, and I want to make art stuff, and like it kills your self esteem. And not to make everything about Last of Us Part 2, but it was like at the point when Last of Us Part 2 came out, and it was the most inspiring thing that had ever hit me in my whole life, at the lowest point of my inspiration. And like I just had given up 21 years of wanting to be a filmmaker of sorts. And like the fact that I was even considering that idea at the time was crazy. But like when I experienced Last of Us Part 2, which was just, I just opened myself to be like take me over. Like, why did this inspire me? Let's like look at every scene, and just it just meshed, it clicked so well, and I understood why it clicked. And so I think the solution to getting over the hardest part for me was holding onto your inspiration as tightly as you possibly can, and understand why you are obsessed with that. Understand yourself and your obsessions, and know that like if they can do it, I can too, and here's why my take is good on this. And like it's your ally.
You,
It's
you know
yeah.
what that made me think of?
Mm.
Because people, I get messages all the time, and people are like, "I'm thinking about making a short film. I've never done anything before. Like, do you have any tips, or should I do it? This and that." And I think, one of the things that made me think about is that I think one of the things that makes somebody more, I don't know how to word it, but okay, if you're thinking about being a filmmaker, I would ask yourself, when I watch movies, do I try to think about why it made me feel the way I did, or how did they do it? Do they, or like, if your love for movies stops at like that was entertaining, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, if
Yeah.
it would be very hard to make a movie if you're not able to think in your head about how you're going to execute something, and some people just can't do that. You know?
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
some movies it's okay to just accept that and
right?
it's fine,
Yeah.
but like
Some
you
movies are totally acceptable at face value, but
yeah, when you love something, you owe it to yourself to to like really dissect it, write it down.
obsessively,
Yes. Yeah.
obsessively.
Yeah. And all the people that we look up to have done that, have their idols. They get starstruck just as strongly by somebody. And like whether it's a person or an art or like I think you with the Chris Stuckman thing is a great example of like you watching this filmmaker who did it himself, and you're like, there's no reason I can't do that too. And
Yeah.
it's we're setting the example for other artists, and I think like that's why that's the most important thing for um that's the most important advice
Yeah.
you could tell for other filmmakers is just straight up like you have to love it and be proud of what you love. And I don't know, that's why like I have Last of Us as my phone case. This is Ellie's tattoo. And I also have this as my background, but like other bullshit. Sorry. It's just like it's a constant reminder of like this is like the gold standard of greatness. Like if you're trying to be an artist, like there it is, like right there and there. Like why are you doing this? And it's like because I want to make my
Yeah.
Last of Us part two.
I think it comes down to just passion in general. I think
Yeah.
if people are like, how do I find my passion? It is something that when you learn how it works, you just are instantly obsessed with it. That is
Yeah.
a good indicator. Like if you find yourself looking at the clock and going, "Holy shit, dude, I've got stuff to do, but I can't stop thinking about this thing." You know what I mean? Like I will
Yeah.
literally like I'll
Like this
sit down and
podcast.
go, "All right, I only have time." Yeah, I only have time to do 5 pages of script tonight. I told my wife I was gonna do something, and then next thing you know, she comes in and taps on my shoulder and is like, "Are you okay? Everything good?" And I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like I ended up rewriting 15 pages. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. She's like, "No, it's fine." But it like that's how I know that I'm passionate about it, is because
Yeah.
the whole world stops when I'm doing this thing. That makes sense?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Like,
It's why we can't stop talking about it right now. It's like
yeah,
yeah, we're
exactly.
obsessed with it. It's the passion is
Um,
real. But it gets you to the finish line. It's the one thing
yeah.
that's there for you when nothing else is. But yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if we answered Tyler's question, but I guess one of the ways that I get myself through hard times is I try to remind myself why I started in the first place.
Hmm.
You know, like there's I can't remember whose quote it is, but it's like when things get hard, remember that you're doing this so that you don't let down your future self. I think that's a really good one.
Yeah.
I think about that shit all the time, man. You know, getting me emotional. But thank you for you guys' Patreon questions. I think they were really good. The one little thing that I wanted to harp on before we talk about Pollo Loco one last time, and then get into our recommendations for the week. I have decided to make it my sole goal to turn my PC into an editing PC. Like it can already play games really well, but I really want to be able to like edit my films and stuff without it like freezing on me and like trying to load everything. So the first thing I'm doing is Chris, I'll probably end up giving you my current RAM, but I have right now I have this Corsair Vengeance RGB Pro RAM, which is still considered like some of the best RAM that you can get out there for the money. I have 4 8 GB sticks, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get 4 32 GB sticks, which is like $300. But that's supposed to help a lot with editing. So I'm gonna have 128 GB of RAM instead of 32, which is I mean, that's 4 times the RAM. I can have infinite tabs now. when I do that. The other thing is, I still don't have a 4K monitor, and I found this monitor for like $600 that is 180 hertz in 4K, and it's 360 in 1080p, and you can switch back and forth, which is pretty dope.
Mhm.
All the frames. But yeah, no, I'm gonna be slowly over time, like, because I know I'm gonna be editing a feature film soon. I'm gonna do that shit myself because I know that's the best way for me to do it, to protect my vision. So I want to make sure my PC can handle it. Um, yeah, I plan on turning my PC into the ultimate gaming editing rig. Right now, it's just a good gaming rig, but I did have it as a serious topic to talk about Trump's second assassination attempt, but honestly, like, I don't know if there's really anything to say that hasn't been said already. It's just crazy to me that like it happened again,
Yeah.
or like, like there was an attempt, and I don't know, man. Like, it's been interesting to see how people have reacted to it, and again, this election cycle has been insane, and I'm honestly scared for the day that they announce who wins, because I think either way, a side is going to be very upset. But yeah, to talk about Pollo Loco, because I don't know if you got a chance to watch it, Ben, but did you see my hype trailer?
I got to see. Yeah, I like that you put all the awards and stuff like that on it. That was great. It was very
Yeah,
well
that
decorated.
I tried to be very like keep it around a minute, but like, also like get people hyped up for it. I mean, I showed Bobby and she was like kind of gave me chills, and I was like, yes.
Oh, beautiful.
But I'm gonna be dropping a trailer to announce the premiere on October 4th. I'll probably drop it on the 1st, I think.
Yeah.
But Pollo Loco is gonna be dropping on the YouTube, and I'm excited and like terrified at the same time, because I know once it's finally out there and anybody can just watch it if they want to, it's I mean it's like it's almost like, I don't know, posting a picture of yourself naked, like, look at me, you know what I mean? And people are gonna judge you either way.
Mhm.
So it's like that's how it feels to me. It's like I know that there's gonna be a lot of criticism, um, but it's gonna be a learning experience. I mean, I've already learned a lot from the criticism I've already got. One of the things that you mentioned, Ben, that I'm really proud of is I think the top liked review on Letterboxd for Pollo Loco right now is literally this like verified critic saying that it's the type of short film that inspires you to want to make your own. And I'm like,
Fuck yeah.
that's
Good shit.
that's what it's all about, man. But if do you have any like final thoughts or memories from Pollo Loco that you want to share?
I think just the feeling of community and family and trust that just was building momentum all 4 days. I think for me the biggest just excitement I get about the memory of Pollo Loco is like how great that feeling was in the garage. The entire garage section was like asking the most of Jorge, and Jorge just over delivering and fucking being way better than we ever expected. Fucking Nathan over delivering on
Oh shit, man.
the look of just everything of like this. The set was going well and well every day, and we like knocking it out. We're like, okay, and then there's the garage scene, and it's like kind of like we were confident going in. There's like no fear, not necessarily, but it was like, just a big responsibility. It's a big undertaking, and just everything that needed to give 110% gave more than that, and it was like Jorge, the effects, the blood and gore and all the whole thing, everyone's performance, the intensity, the funniness of the FaceTime scene, I thought was so good. Giancarlo like through the FaceTime being like, what you want to eat? Do you want anything? Was
Spoilers for anybody who hasn't
oh sorry.
seen it.
Yeah, it was good, and it was just like the pinnacle of that momentum, and just like us annihilating it that day was so satisfying. And it was just everyone there in that room. There was like stuff with like locations that we had to like rearrange last second, and just how well that garage worked. Just I think we were all our best selves that day in a way that we should have been so proud of, and I like that it shows so much on the movie. because it was very, I remember just very particularly being like, okay, we have to go to this angle, and this angle is what we're capturing here. We have to get this insert there, and do these moments, and like we were just constantly double checking ourselves that day. And obviously it's the crux of the whole movie. It's the big payoff, and it was that with great power comes great responsibility, and everybody understood that. And I think that was like when we really knew, like, oh, this is something special, and we should work with pretty much everybody from this crew again. This is great. So yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if we should do like a commentary at some point for it or
should.
something, because I think one of the things that's interesting about it is that it's almost shot in order.
Yes.
And I think because of that, when you watch the film, the quality of everything, like, kind of just gets better as the film goes on.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that was one of the most interesting things, is like you're literally like, I don't want to make it just about me, so like I think you can see it in like the performances a lot too, but it's like that film is literally like watching us like learn how to walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think that's one of the most beautiful things about that whole experience.
Yeah.
Is like it's literally learning how to walk. And like and every time I see that film from start to finish, I think about how when I went into that, I was like spending a lot of money on this, but no matter what, I know I'm going to learn so much from it, and it's probably going to be a dumpster fire, and then somehow it wasn't, you know?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it just came into how seriously we took it and how we planned and how you and I sat down and did a shot list and just, I mean, it's, they
No
talk about,
shortcuts.
no, we were like, we're doing this the right way. And I think a lot of times in life, people are told, don't overthink things. Don't like, you can't think of everything, you know, but when it comes to filmmaking, that is literally the goal for me. It's like, I try to think of every possible thing that could go wrong, because you're going to get to set and there's going to be things that go wrong that you didn't think of, and you need to be able to focus on handling those. You can't be dealing with stupid stuff that you just didn't think of because you were lazy, you know? And that's something that I've you know, I took that into account with Stolen G Fuel. And when I make Always Ready, I know like it's so daunting to think about all the planning that's going to go into it, but at the same time, like, that's making movies and I'm excited for it, you know? But yeah, no, thank you for sharing all that, Ben. That really it means a lot, and I can't wait for everybody to just be able to watch it. And I do think it's one of those films that you can go back and watch again and pick up things that you didn't the first time. So it's got rewatchability to it, even if you've already seen it during its festival run. I think being able to watch it again on YouTube, you know, in like the highest quality, is going to be really, really good. I can't wait to see the premiere and watch the chat. I'm going to be sitting there like just watching the chat. You know, people are going to be like, oh, they're going to be roasting me and like cheering at the same time, I'm sure. Yeah, October 4th, it'll be dropping on YouTube. Can't wait for everybody to
Awesome.
Everybody who hasn't seen it yet to see it. And if you can, leave a review on Letterboxd and IMDb. It would mean a lot to me, not only to learn from it, but also to support the film. So, because it's free. Onto our movie, TV, YouTube channel, app, or game recommendation of the week. I really think people should go see Transformers 1, especially if you're like, you know, you got a family and you're looking for something to take the kids to. I think it checks all the boxes. I think Transformers 1 is one of the best things out right now. And if you are a horror fan, specifically body horror, you've got to see The Substance. Go, like, that's one of those movies where I'm like, I know there's going to be people who hate it just because of how it's executed, and that's fine. Like, it's very unapologetic in its approach. But those are the types of films that I think should be supported, because that's where people take chances and experiment, and like, when it pays off, it is just a miraculous thing to watch. Chris, what's your recommendation?
So we kind of talked about Resonance by Home earlier. There's a channel that does like, not necessarily like remixes, because it's not like, you know, they're adding their own stuff, but it's like they rearranged that song in like a bajillion different ways. But the channel's Resonance Hub, and there's like tons of songs that are on there where it's just like Resonance, but beats 2 and 4 are swapped with 1 and 3, and it just like sounds like completely different. But it has the same atmosphere as the song, but it's different. And there's some where like there's one where I was like, this sounds like an Irish jig, but it's like resonance. It was
I gotta
weird.
check out this channel.
Yeah, no, it's the thing is, so he did put stuff on Spotify at one point, but then it did get removed. But there's 2 songs that he has on Spotify still, because it's like that one where it's like resonance, but like it's backwards. But it's not like they just reversed the song. It's like it's weird. I don't know like how he did this stuff, but it's very very cool. It's
Somebody
like,
loves that song. That's all I know.
yeah, man. But I would definitely go check that out if you are a fan of that song.
If you just like electronic music like that in general, check out Electronic Gems. That's a great YouTube channel
Yeah.
with like a ton of good music. You can literally just filter from like, most popular, least popular, and you'll find tons of bangers in there if you're into that kind of stuff. How you been?
Yeah, so the substance, obviously, I won't say anything more about that, but like my first film, yes, if you're a filmmaker, watch that. And then also in terms of games, Hollow Body, if you like horror. Yeah, just my usual shit. No, Hollow Body is great. It's a great indie game. Horror, scary, cool, fun, Signalis, Resident Evil type. And then if you really like coming of age visual novels, it's also, I should mention, it's Filipino. It's a Filipino high school coming of age story. It's called Until Then. I think it's the best high school coming of age story in all of games. It's a fantastic visual novel. If you end up playing it and you get to the end and you hit the credits for the first time, it's going to ask you at the end of the credits, do you want to continue or not? You have to hit yes. You should continue because the game's not over after the credits. In fact, there's 2 more times you're going to see the credits, and the third time is the real time. And the game is incredibly self-aware, incredibly well written, incredibly like just mature. Everything you want to see in a high school drama. It takes place in 2014, and it's like if you graduated high school in the 2010s, like this is.
I graduated in 2014, so
yeah, well, it's very much. It's so good, and like its use of social media is great. It's funny, it's very emotional, and it's very sad. It will make you cry if you have half of a heart, and it's fantastic. Until then, and it's $20, and it's on Steam and PS5.
hell yeah. Well, guys, if you're still listening / watching, you're a real one, because this is easily one of our longest episodes in a while, and support us. Go Danny D for G Fuel and Fit Butters, and check out our Patreon. We'll see you next week.